spit for children of the ghetto, surrounded by rock like heavy metal. Has never seen the beauty of the ocean nor meadow. The system steady pulling they strings just like Geppetto, but I swear I never settle till I free them from the devil. I spit for black babies trying to keep their hope alive. And the world is trying to take away their hunger to survive. I spit for lost sheep that never dream of universities. They can't see above their situations and adversities. Whose only real role models is gangsters. They cut back the bankers, the channel they aim to blow. Rise and fall like the movement of the Dow. They say revolution's coming, but I say the time is now. I put that on my mother and everything that I hold dear. Covered by the waters of faith, so I don't feel fear. Cause you ain't living till you willing to die. I'm sick and tired of my people living just to get by. I speak for all my ancestors that are dead in the Atlantic. Fed the shark infested waters makes me wanna go manic. Counterfeit money is changing the red. Cause it's soaked in the blood of my people, blood of the dead, yeah. Nat Turner, yo, I speak for you, Fred Hampton, yeah, I speak for you, John Brown, yeah, I speak for you, Megan Evans, yo, I speak for you, Emmett Till, yeah, I speak for you, Malcolm X, yeah, I speak for you, Dr. King, yo, I speak for you, Huey P, yeah, I speak for you. I'm seeing slave ships to make the homicide look like a cruise that never once got the chance to take revenge of the crew. Ain't no limit to the evil men do. Hey yo, a war on terrorism means a war against you. Uncle Sam, the biggest terrorist the world has ever known, stole land from indigenous peoples and called it home. Knew it was theirs, but you called it your own. Still you got the nerve to wonder why you reap what you sow. I remember all the blankets that you laced with the flu, but you don't call it terrorism till it's done against you. You know the plan, and yeah, I know exactly who I am. I'm original man, the one that built the pyramids in the sand. One you still can't build with your machine in your hand. The seed of Abraham, raised in the true motherland. Miss America, the queen of the damn. A blood-sucker vampire, so a lot of men ran. But you better understand, SB gon' stand. You steady telling me I can't, when I know that I can. Even if I have to rock it as a one-man band. The only weapons that I need are the paper and pen. Yeah, Chi-Town, yo, I spit for you, yeah. Southside, yo, I spit for you. West side, yeah, I spit for you. North side, I spit for you. East Coast, I spit for you. West Coast, yeah, I spit for you. Dirty South, I spit for you. The Midwest, yeah, I spit for you. I spit for thugs that's incarcerated. Caught in the matrix cause I know they just a product of the fear and the hatred. That they never gon' make it, but the spell that they cast on my people, I came to break it. I wasn't born yesterday, know that there's a better way. No, I'm about to answer to God, talk to my knees and pray. Cause I was powerful time with the brothers of activists. And so just want to welcome you back to day 4 of our Justice Involved Fathers conversation, highlighting their reclamation into the community, their roles in the community, and also the importance of the U.S. Census. I'm going to take the time now to direct you to the U.S. Census to make sure that your family, your household, and everybody else has actually completed the census. So go right now as I'm talking, because you can listen to me and do your census at the same time. Go right now. If you have not done so, give 10 minutes of your time, 10 questions to answer the census. 2020census.gov. Again, 2020.gov, census.gov. And shouts out to SB, Chicago's own SB, who we play that song every night at the beginning of our program. I Spit For You is a classic. It is, I met SB in 2005, 2004, and that song was dope then. The meaning was dope then. The meaning was relevant then, and it still is as impactful today as it was then. And so, again, it epitomizes exactly what we're doing. I Spit For You. We are here to serve our communities, serve our girls and their families. And because our girls, many of them are also the daughters of Black fathers who have been involved with the justice system, this is an important and imperative conversation that we're having to understand, one, how we best support those justice involved fathers, how we best recognize
the systemic injustices that they have faced, to recognize some of the structural barriers that are in place in terms of their parenting, in terms of them taking on a role as protectors and servants in the community, and most importantly, how those barriers impact their development of their children, especially the girls that we serve. And so, with that, we are so very honored to have the brothers from Activists join us. And tonight, we have none other than the field director, Mr. Tomas Ortiz. Welcome.
Hey, how y'all doing? Welcome. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Can you hear me?
We good.
Okay.
I can hear you now. Yes, I can.
That's what's
How you
up.
doing, Brother Tomas?
Man, I'm great. Got out that heat, came in the coolness of the house. I'm feeling way better right now. How are you?
And I see your beautiful family. I'm beautiful. I've been chilling all day in the air, working hard, but in the air. So I love the portrait above you of your family. That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what we're talking about. Like, this is the important thing. Yeah, absolutely. So, Brother Tomas, you're the field director for Activists. What does that What does that mean? What's your role?
Well, it's two of us that do field direct. There's two field directors, myself and John Hardy, and I'm covering the hospital. We help each other out in the field as well. So I do the hospital response team, sole responsibility for that as well. John does help. So again, we help each other out. I also help with the community sites too, trainings and things of that sort. So we got other duties as assigned as well that fall under our umbrella. So, we're out there with the team, uplifting the community, uplifting team, trainings, guiding our co-workers, you know what I'm saying, to do the right, do the work right and things of that sort. So there's a lot of the field director umbrella.
And so, give us a day in your your work. If we were to ride around with you, yeah.
Oh well, riding around. I'm again. So I answer the hospital phone hotline, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a day in doing that is just waiting for hospital to give me calls so that we can send a team over, dispatch the team to the hospital, help them assess what's going on with the patient, the situation, direct it to the right people that can help us get in front of any type of mediations or ongoing situations. The main thing is, finding resources for the patient. Remember, this is one of the hardest days in his life that he's facing. He's in pain, agony, just assessing his whole situation and seeing how we can help at that moment and then in the future, of course.
Yeah, and so the unfortunate thing is right now I know y'all busy.
Super busy. 117 shootings last week. I believe we had something like, give or take, like 80 shootings this week. So yeah, the calls come in and then they're happening within certain hours. So just being prepared, staying up. I'm up most of the nights. I'm gonna say from 10 on down is when the calls come in, 5 o'clock till 5 in the morning. So yeah, it's tough doing your day to day, being in meetings, and then we might be on the field with the team as well, and then handling that at nighttime. So yeah, it's a tough road when we're doing this work. You got to be dedicated. Your heart got to be in it. You got to be willing to want to. I do it to help the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in it for the community. I know how destructive them situations can be to loved ones throughout the city.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm dedicated to try to help uplift a person. It's always one by one, so and that's how the process works. It's one by one bite at a time.
It's a lot of bites. It's an elephant right now. But
right.
you and most of the team are all fathers, correct? You all have your own families, right?
Oh, no doubt about it. Yes, we do.
So your
responsibilities. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, we got our parenting responsibilities. So, me, myself, I got 7 children. I'm real active with 6 of them. And I'm there on a daily basis with my youngest, which is 5 years old. So, I just took her to school this morning, and I tell her how hard it can be for me because taking her to school and then getting on a meeting and things like that, and she can get a little uptight, and then it's a father daughter little situation.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how that goes.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's a good experience. I love it. I wouldn't give nothing. I That's all I would want to see for real, right? There's
Mm.
none I would give up in the world for that.
And so, as y'all are all out there doing what you do for other families and to keep other families intact, how's that? What's the relationship, or what's the strain, or is there a strain on your own families, your wives, your other
No,
children?
so you say why? So I
I
have
mean, wives in terms of everybody's got a wife, so.
nah, yeah. I got you. I was just laughing at how you say it, right? I was looking at some jokes earlier, but anyway, right? So they understand what I do. They know where I come from.
Mm-hmm.
They know where I'm going. I've been an example to a lot of people, and the greater example to my kids is bouncing back. You know what I'm saying? I'm, from being in prison out of their life for a nice chunk of time, and then acclimating myself back into the city, into regular life, daily routine. Uh, I've been home though 10 years, so they understand. I've been doing this work for 10 years, so I've been doing this since I've been home, and in doing this work, I've gained a lot of accolades. As far as I did my GED when I was in prison, and then I came home. I furthered my education, got my bachelor's. Now I just signed up. I started in August for my master's degree. So they've been with me through this whole journey and seeing how my growth. And at the same time, as an example for them that it's never too late, no matter how old we are, right? So I got 2 daughters that are, one is going off to college. My first oldest, she works at the hospital, so she's what you call that, she takes care of the patients.
Mm-hmm.
Like a not like a L, it's like a LPN, like a nurse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
CNA.
she does nurse work, CNA. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one does the same thing at a senior citizen home. So they both in that field. And one of them, my second oldest, she'll be going off to college, and the other one is studying for her LRN. Is it her
Mm-hmm.
licensed registered nurse?
Registered nurse. Mm-hmm. LRN.
I got a cousin that does the same thing.
Yeah.
Right, I got a cousin that does the same thing. So, just following the footsteps, being around that atmosphere, me working in the hospital and seeing what goes on, how the doctors work, nurses, and other social workers. So it's just a great experience.
And that just goes to show a family of servants, of community servants. Yeah.
Right.
So the conversation, everybody that's watching the conversation is about just as involved fathers, how they reclaim their role as parents and how they reclaim their role in the community. We have Brother Tomas Ortiz on, who is a field director with Activists Incorporated. If you've been tuning in all week, this is day 4 of a 5-part series, and the conversation is powerful. So I invite you right now to extend the invitation for others to join us by watching, and simply just share this page out and invite other people in, especially as we talk about the work that Activists does in terms of violence prevention. So this is not just a conversation if you know somebody who is justice involved, if you know somebody who's facing the justice system. This is about all of us, our community, because every member of our community has a place and has a contribution. And we have to help one another, support one another in our roles so that we can all do our roles better and much stronger. So with that, Brother Tomas, so you talked about what you're doing with Activists and the role of Activists. What I also want to know is, I want you to kind of talk to people about what it is in the how you first even got involved with the justice system.
Well, I was young. I was young, going through a lot of things. My grandmother had passed away. First of all, my uncle had got killed. I was a young kid, seeing how things were going on around me, situations happening with law enforcement, things like that. how we were being treated. And then my grandmother passed away. So then I was kind of left to fend on my own, fend for myself. Uh, so I was moved to Puerto Rico by my mother moved me to Puerto Rico. And I stood over there for about maybe 3 years or so. Came back to Chicago again on my own. I was already acclimated with the guys in the area, stuff like that. So that was actually my home. So being in that since I was, I'm going to say maybe 15, 14 years old. So, being in the street, 14 years old, I caught my first case when I was 17. Little slap on the hand type situation, but then it grew from there, got convicted. Then I caught another case, wrongly accused in that mistaken identity, looking like another person, whatever, cool. Did the time for that. Came home just as I got deeper, I was getting in deep.
So
And just
hold
gradually.
on. So with the case of being wrongfully convicted, how old were you at that time, and how long did you go in for?
I was 18. They gave me 8. I did 4.
Okay, so now
So
you're 22. Coming out, you're
yeah,
22 now. Okay.
right. Coming out 22. You know, you know how that goes. You do the right thing, stuff like that. People look up to you. The guys were there for me, bought me clothes, car keys, the whole 9 yards. Got into the game. When I say get into the game, getting into the drug sales and stuff like that. Never partook in any of it. I was just straight hustle. Everything for me was I could sell it, it was gone. So I was just hustling drugs, dealing, things like that. So I got deeper into it, scathing, banging, all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Caught a few cases, lawyered up, stood quiet, beat a lot of cases. You know what I'm saying? Just been lucky. Rabbit's foot. Then I caught a Fed case. When I turned 20, no, when I turned 32, 33, I caught a Fed case. When I caught the Fed case, that's when it got a little serious. Going in there, seeing what's going on. Again, keeping quiet, playing my role as a man, and going through the system. Went to trial, things like that. Got convicted. Ended up doing 7 years. Got 8. Ended up doing 7 years straight. Got home. I got out in 2010, and then fast forward back into the work. 2010, 2011, I was an interrupter for Cure Violence, and then I've been there ever since. So being at Cure Violence, transitioning through all of that, and then, of course, transforming into activist with the hospital response.
So what would make you, what changed for you that led you to actually do violence prevention and interruption work?
Well, just being in prison, being with people from all over the country, state, different worlds, learning new attitudes. You know what I'm saying? Characteristics. Being locked up with guys that were from home, and just getting along with a lot of these guys that I might have been into it with, or just into it because we were banging. You know what I'm saying? Because he was Group A or Group B, and Group A didn't get along with Group B. And that in the Feds, it was a whole different story. It was a coalition of us. And then if you was from the city, we was actually looking out for each other. Of course, there was guidelines, things of that sort, but we were just looking out for each other. But some of this shit don't make sense. Excuse my language.
No, it's cool.
It doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So I'm watching a guy that naturally I would have been into it with in the street probably for no reason, right? Mm-hmm. But now I'm watching the fact that this guy really a stand-up good guy type of person. You know what I'm saying? So watching his back, looking out for him, and then the fact of families coming, to visit us, together. Yeah, your girl come through mine too, whatever. They can come, the kids can come, they can come together. So that creates a bond. When you create a bond with one, it's like a bond with everyone else. Because the other guy, yeah, that's a good dude. It's cool. Move out the van. Now everybody looking at that's a good guy. He's cool, and then vice versa. So and coming home, and one of my friends introduced me to the violence program. He was like, man, there's a lot of guys that respect you out here. You can do this work. They listen to you. You know what I'm saying? So you can get in front of a lot of things. That's how it goes. So I became a violence. That's when I became a violence interrupter.
So you've been incarcerated a few times. You come home and there's a code of conduct for how you all conduct when you inside, how you conduct yourself in the relationships you build. You come
Right.
back out though, and the streets is still on the same stuff. The streets is still, and probably worse. So how do you reconcile that? Like, how do you, and I know when you've been enlightened and you get to another level, it's hard to kind of, a lot of people have a hard time being humble enough to remember back when they were doing it and get other people to also respect where they are now. So how hard was that for you to like transition and get people to try this new way of getting along, of being a coalition builder, of squashing the violence and stuff like that?
But just letting them understand the pettiness of some of these things. You know what I'm saying? And how you can end up with a lot of years for something so minute. You know what I'm saying? That can be looked over or just paid off or brushed off. Cool, you got this one. Be the bigger person. Be the bigger man. You know what I'm saying? So just coming out here and seeing what was going on, and to me was a new culture. So I had to keep my eyes and my ears open as well, just looking out for my best interests, right? And just putting that positivity out because it really wasn't the same when I came home.
Mm-hmm.
Yet things were the same, but the people weren't the same. It wasn't the same players.
That's
And
right.
everybody had their rules and their little things, right? So
Mm-hmm.
just you take a liking or a disliking. You know what I'm saying? So I stood neutral and chose where I needed to be at for myself and my family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Not to get myself turned back in, so to speak. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? So when I seen what was going on, I really didn't. I wasn't feeling it, right? And I was just talking to the guys. Like, man, we should do it like this, like this. That's not how we used to do it. Whatever the case may have been, right? Every situation is unique to itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, in saying that, I would, just trying to help them out, putting that positivity. Then I had to put myself in a positive light, right? Then I came home to being able to catch my oldest graduate from 8th grade. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I made it on time. When I left, she was 7. When I came back, she was 14 and graduating from 8th grade. So that was a blessing, my first child, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, I got 7. So I got to see my first. So that means, man, I was going to be able to see the rest of them graduate. And that was my goal. That was my intention. So I had to put myself in the right places with the right people, do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this was afforded to me. I made the best of it. When they opened the door to violence prevention, again, being an interrupter, climbed the ladder from there to being a hospital responder, from being a hospital responder, case manager in the hospital, and so forth and so on. So I just grew. Then in 2017, 2012, I started my education in college, Northwestern. From there, I went to, from there, 5 years straight, I was able to obtain and achieve my bachelor's degree in
So you said
2017.
so you said Northwestern.
I mean, Northeastern, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Northeastern.
either
Yeah,
way,
Northeastern.
Northeastern, Northwestern.
Right,
Point is that you didn't wind up going to prison because you're not intellectually capable or that
right,
you're not smart. How
right.
and there's a stereotype, right? So they say a lot of times a lot of people that's doing street crimes, especially selling drugs, could be accountants, they could be bankers, they could be real estate. They like y'all moving money, you
Oh,
managing
yeah.
money. Yeah.
A lot of these guys, I say, I guess just, like having them choices, right? I had choices.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think I had it pretty bad. Yeah, me and my mother were more, let her rest in peace. She was more like my buddy, my friend. Like we were brothers and sisters. I was raised with my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Let her rest in peace as well. So it was just like, I had choices. I could have went one way. Grandma was more on me than my mom was for real. So, I was making sure I was goody two shoes in front of grandma, in front of mom. That was my buddy. He was like, we cool. But I gave her the utmost respect, like it was like she was my grand, because she's my mother first and foremost, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she got all the respect, but she treated me more like we were cool. I could tell you anything.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, I didn't have a father figure in my life at all. I did have uncles, most of them were in the life type thing as well. You know what I'm saying? And not that I got it from them. Again, I had choices to make on my own, and
Mm-hmm.
I made my own choices. You know what I'm saying? And some of them were from anger, being angry at things that transpired in life throughout life. Just being bitter. Now I got to get back. You know what I'm saying? And the way I got back was I joined the community. I'm gonna be with the guys, the underdogs. We can come on top. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I end up, being in the streets, hanging with the fellas, selling drugs, doing whatever we did.
And there's a running theme. We're on day 4 now, and the running theme everybody speaks to it, and that is um, anger, and also the choices, the lack of choices, or not the
Yeah.
lack of choices, but the choices and the lack of tools to be able to make the right choices because you're so young, right? Now you speak about home. So is that for you? What neighborhood is are you in when you as a child? What neighborhood are you
Oh,
in?
when I Wicker Park, Humble Park, originally from Humble Park. That's where I've been at most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
North Tennessee, Hermosa Park, uh, everywhere on the northwest side almost. To
which
tell the
which
truth.
looks a which looks a lot different than when you were younger.
Oh yeah, now. Well, there's some like I ain't been gone long, long like that, but I've been gone. So just being gone, things do change, right? So yeah, community change, flip over gentrification,
Gentrification.
those are right things that those sorts of have been happening. So yeah, that was change, no doubt about it. Like I said, it's a culture change.
Mm-hmm.
You're no longer this young guy. Now you got these kids that you left. Now they in the neighborhood, and you don't really know them for real from Adam. 7 years, it's still a lot. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So you figure I'm coming out. I'm almost 40 years old. So 7 years, some of these guys weren't even in the street. Don't even know you like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a big culture change.
Let's talk about that. I was mostly talking about gentrification. The same neighborhoods that didn't have options or didn't have a lot. All of a sudden now everything is available. You Humble Park, for me, what is Bronzeville, but it was the low end then. Nothing was there, right? Now all of a sudden
But
they can build a hotel in 3 weeks. They can
yeah,
build
no,
whatever. Is amazing. So I do. There's something I want to explore with you because you talk about you have 7 kids and how many are girls? 3,
I got 5 girls. Well,
5.
I'm gonna take that back. I got 9, right?
Oh.
So I got 5 girls that are genetically mine,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got 2 boys that are genetically mine. Then I inherited 2 more, and just being there for them the best way I can as well, helping out with whatever they was going through as well too. So
So I'm a
mine 7, but altogether I'm gonna count 9.
9 kids. That's what's up. So that's another thing. Like I even the same situation. Everybody talking to Swack yesterday. Everybody is family oriented. Nobody is like, no, I'm alone. I don't have family. Even they didn't have birth children, claiming children, being responsible. So I wanna go down that lane with you about parenting, especially with your girls. We'll hit on both the girls and the boys, but I want, if you can, like, what are your girls expressed to you most that impacted them while you were away?
Well, they were still young, you know what I'm saying? So they were still in the kid stages, right? They weren't fully grown again. I came home when they were 14.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got locked up, my oldest was only 7 years old. So she was still a kid, right? Of course, it affected her in a big way because she's so attached to me. So
Mm-hmm.
her just hearing my voice was good. Them being able to come visit me, you know what I'm saying, was impactful as well. So the communication was kept. We'll write letters. I'll send them pictures. Of course, that ain't the same as being present, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to be able to hug and 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 just spend that quality time with your children,
Mm-hmm.
right? But just being able to the mothers, my kids' mothers, just being involved in helping with that connection, that communication piece. It was real strong. I was able to be in their ear every week. You know what I'm saying? If I call maybe twice a week, things like that, how you doing? Or every day for 5 minutes, whatever the case may have been. You
Mm-hmm.
know, of course, a detachment, you can feel it. And all they want to do is, man, I want you home. I want you home.
Mm-hmm.
And just giving them to understand that, hey, Pops did something that he has to pay for, and this is what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? The other ones were a lot smaller, 1 and 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So when I come home, they're 7. So, their understanding was not like the oldest one. So
Mm-hmm.
I stood with the oldest one. She kind of grew up a little faster than most kids would, right? Because she was more attached to me. I talked to her a lot more. So, you know, again, the mothers being there and being able to keep me connected to the kids was great. And being that I got kids from different women, just having them have my kids together,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be for birthdays or play dates, whatever the case may be, it was done. It was being done, and I'm grateful for it. And I'm just, I could pretty much say I'm lucky because of my communication with them
Mm-hmm.
and having them have the kids together whenever they got the chance, because of course they was living their lives as well too. So just understanding that, and again, a good understanding, maturity, and the communication piece was good, even to this day.
And that's a blessing. That's a
Yes,
true blessing. And so your oldest, what's her name?
my oldest is Destiny.
Destiny. Oh, pretty name. So
Destiny.
Destiny, Destiny, in school. How did she ever have any issues in school? Anything like that?
No, they- well, when I got locked up, they moved to Woodstock, so
Okay.
that's a little suburb out west. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't really have no issue. Destiny's a personal person.
Mm-hmm.
She gained friends. She keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
she was a young lady that was, again, had to be a little bit mature. We'll talk about school. I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing good. She had great friends. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? I can say that's another blessing, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like she landed in a pot of gold of good people around her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it takes a community to raise a child as well. And she didn't, me being incarcerated, she did. She told her friends where I was at. They were crazy and wanted to meet me as well. So
Wow.
that didn't hinder any of her growth. You know what I'm saying? And she's able to move forward. Her friends, they even call me dad. And these are childhood friends since she was probably what, 5th grade, maybe less than that, at 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now they grew up together. They've been in Woodstock ever since. She's 23 years old now. So these are friends that she actually grew up with, stepped over their house,
So
mothers and fathers.
and that's a huge thing, because a lot of what we're talking about is not just your experiences, but how when fathers are away and when they return, like what is the community's responsibility to make it easier for you all, and what I'm hearing, and for your children. And another theme that came out of the conversations thus far was shame. Shame for not having a parent, for having a parent that's incarcerated. Shame for what you're doing. But what I just heard from you is a whole different vibe. And I think we as viewers and parents, mentors, whatever, educators, I think this is to normalize so that people don't feel ostracized. So they're not ashamed to say, well, my dad is incarcerated. You know what I mean? And not make that a thing. If Destiny had that support like she had, she don't have to hide where her father is. She don't have to be ashamed. I think we should all take that into consideration, knowing that a lot of our children are experiencing being without their fathers or without their mothers, that their parents are incarcerated. I think we should always bear that in mind and not make that an other type of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So, and also, I know you said another supportive thing that happened was your children being able to constantly be together and have a bond. And for that to happen, mothers have to be supported. So mothers have to not be have to work constantly and not be able to take days off of work, or not, or have all these burdens and this tension on them, not having somebody to take care of the children or be able to do self-care. So I'm talking to community now. Like, these are the things, as we fight for structural changes and systematic changes, we need to be thinking about how do we support working mothers, especially when they're working mothers who have a partner or a husband or a spouse that's incarcerated or away from home. So thank you for that, because that's some good. I don't think people consider those things. You can do a whole lot when you don't have that tension and that stress on you. It makes you a easier person. It makes you a likable person, because baby mama conflict can be real, and you don't got
Oh
the
yeah,
stress.
it's, you know,
Yeah.
I've experienced it, but to and again another blessing, just to a minimum, right?
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, it ain't about us. We did what we did. We were grown people.
Mhm.
It is what it is. I'm not denying my kids to nobody. I don't care who it is, right?
Mhm.
If I've done something, on the side, whatever, hey, that's on me and that's on that individual partner, right? And I'm gonna fess up to that when it comes to my kids,
Yeah.
and I want my kids to grow up. I don't want to be hiding my kid because now look, whatever, it's whatever. I did what I did. This is a child who has no fault in anything, and
That's
they're
right.
gonna know their brothers and sisters. Point blank simple. And again, just them having that understanding. Yeah, they'll struggle with it, of course. Women gonna struggle with it because they want what they want is what they want. You know what I'm saying? What's mine is mine is how I understand when it
Mhm.
comes to the woman, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, I'm just glad that they understand. But kids are involved as well too. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? They have no fault. You know what I'm saying? If you want to pour the blame it on me then.
Mhm.
Let's blame it on each other. You know what I'm saying? And give it to me. I can take it. Let me put that load on my back. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? And I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it as we go. But at the end of the day, we're gonna get older. We're gonna become adults. I want my kids to know each other when they're kids. I want them to hold each other when they babies. That way they know who their brothers and sisters are.
Mhm.
You know, we do have, there's a lot of children out here that, because of certain situations, they're separated from their family. They don't even know who they are, and then they meet on Facebook. I
Mhm.
don't even know them, but I know they meet on Facebook
Yeah.
or through friends, and then they discover, oh, we brothers and sisters. Oh,
Mhm.
I didn't know that, and that might be a situation. Oh, why y'all ain't never did? So
Mhm.
it comes to those type of things, right? So my thing was when I first got locked up and I went to the feds, I didn't know what I was facing. You know what I'm saying? It was a mixed bag of a lot of things going on, and I didn't know where I was going to end up at. So that being said, my main goal was, man, I need them to get together. I need the mothers to get together so that my children can be together. That's that was my main and only ask for real, right? And they can attest to that as well. Have my kids communicate, let them know each other, so let them have that brother and sister bond. And thank God that's what it's been. And then when I came home, I just made that strong, right? Having that understanding, you know, getting them all together, doing the birthday parties. Let's do this together. It's this kid's birthday. We want to celebrate like this. That's how that happened. So I poured them. I give them a lot of things still to this day, even as women. I try to they're women now. I also guys try to mold them to do things in the right perspective. So I guess I'm blessed with that as well too. When it comes to I give my kids' mothers a lot of credit because they were understanding no matter what the situation was, right? And it's a blessing. I can't say no more. It's a blessing.
It's a
That
beautiful. It's a.
we
It's,
can all get along, they get along, and we can all have our kids together with no problems. We can be in a barbecue, birthday parties, whether it's mine, yours, they'll come to the event. And that's just love. My saying is, if you can't celebrate life with me, then don't come to my funeral. Why would you want to see me dead? See me while I'm living. Let's live, and we can be mutual. They got their boyfriends, husbands, whatever the case may be. I respect all of that. We can come to understanding. I'm not hating on when everybody got a life, and I respect that. You know what I'm saying? You got your boyfriend, cool. You can come. I'm not tripping on none of that. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. We had our time. Now your time is with somebody else. and I can understand that because I messed up. So,
So that's a
and it's a
beautiful,
maturity thing.
yeah, that's a beautiful thing. That's called growth.
Yeah,
Everybody don't have that, you know. And so that's what I'm speaking especially about our children. Like that's the type of energy that we need in our families. You know, just off just everybody, even if you with somebody or not, even if you a neighbor, we all got to start putting kids first. Like our children have to be first everywhere. So thank you. Um, once again, just reminding you, we're talking with Tomas Ortiz, Field Director at Activist Incorporated, talking about justice involved fathers and their role as parents and reclaiming their role in the community. So, Brother Tomas, another thing I wanted to talk to you about was how did you come back and reclaim your role in the community? I know you said you observed and you just stayed neutral and just try to offer support. But how did young people? Because this is a different generation. Now it's like two generations after you've been home. I'm the same age as you. I'm 40, 44. We probably around the same age. So we know those like two generations still out there underneath us. So how were you received when you came home? How did the young people, did they still respect you, or were they like, who are you? Like,
yeah. We had a mixed bag in that as well, right? I was respected, no doubt, right?
mhm,
And I'm kind of a straightforward person. I see it how it is. I see it how there was people that when I was there, they weren't even around. They were gone, and when I came out, they was there. So you had them type of guys too. So when you see that, it was just like, okay, this right here really ain't my time for real, right? I'm gonna stand on the outside and look in,
mhm,
right? Because I know what it was when the things were hard and they were tough. You know what I'm saying? And to me now, the way this culture is, a lot of clicks, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. So I kind of got a grasp of, okay, y'all playing the buddy system, when you have certain standards in place, certain things ain't allowed. So that being said, I just stood back, looked in, and just try to get a buy-in. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm just gonna be here to help.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? You guys do positive things. You know what I'm saying? You guys got kids, whatever. You don't want to be missing from them kids. Get you a nice little 9 to 5, things of that sort. So I was just trying to pour as much positivity to the community as possible. You know what I'm saying? Without getting that, and even getting that negative feedback. Right? I wasn't worried about you think you tough type thing. Hey, you can keep off of that. You got a place for that type of attitude for real. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think you really can match to that level. You know what I'm saying? Where I can go. So I'm just thinking for myself. I'm thinking for the next person because they really don't know what they can get themselves into for real. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of guys, they run in multitude and not no one-on-ones. You know what I'm saying? So that was another thing. You know what I'm saying? So when you catch a person one-on-one, it might be a whole different story. Didn't catch them in a group, got your chest poked out and things of that sort. Just watching out for that and looking into things like that is what kept me away. So being in the feds and knowing what's going on and how we were all getting down, the process and the code of conduct we had in them, I brought it to the street with me as well, on a whole different level. So some of my enemies were my friends. We would look out for each other. So it's a whole different ball game. You know what I'm saying? It's about me, my family, and that was my bottom line for it.
So
So
would you say that
that
for
changed.
would you say for the most part young people right now are would you say young guys that's in the streets now and some young ladies too, would you say that they are still looking for that structure, they still are looking for somebody to guide them, or would you say to people that young people don't want to hear it? What would you say if people were to ask that?
Well, I learned that approach of meeting kids where they at, right? We got to meet people where they at, understanding what they doing, how far I can get them, and what can they achieve from what they doing, right? It's an end game to a lot of things in the street. An end game is selling drugs. There's an end game to gang banging. You know what I'm saying? There's end games to all of that. Do you really want that for yourself? So you got to put that in their mind. You know what I'm saying? When you put that in their mind like that, some think about it, some don't. You know, some come back, man. You know what? You was right about what you was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because if you gang banging, there's I'm gonna say three things that can happen. You can be paralyzed, dead, or in jail for committing a heinous crime. Right? Selling drugs, you can either get killed or end up in jail the same way. You know what I'm saying? So there's really no end game to it. And just putting that in their mind, and again, drawing back to that kids, you know what I'm saying? But the point is to meet them where they at. Meet them where they at and gradually guide them through something better than what they're going through. But showing them that at the same time. And them knowing what you've been through, it's easier for some of them to understand. And some just want to be hard headed. But again, as we go, there's a kid I'm trying to help now. He's still doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I try to help him through a lot of things, parenting classes, this and that. You know, you want to stay with your kids before it's a mandate. Man, let's get it. Let's do it on your own. Make you a better person. You know what I'm saying? Don't let nobody tell you what to do. Do it for yourself. So it's all about giving them that advice, putting that stain on their brain, like John Hardy would say, right? So they can. So you know, and that's the bottom line. Meeting them where they at, just guiding them as we go, and letting them know, listen, I'm here for you. So whatever it is that you need, I'm here. I may not give you money. I'm not no rich person, but I can
Mm-hmm.
find you some resources and direct you to certain people that may help you out. So
And so
yeah,
a lot of the institutions that our young people have to that that they have to interact with, whether it's a school, an education system, whether it's jobs, whatever, they don't. There's no meeting you where you are, right there. Just there's this handbook, rule book, and it's one size fit all. So it's not taking into consideration anybody's personal situation or their personal challenges or barriers. How do you think that impacts? So the punitive punishments for everything, consequences that are punitive, that don't allow for mistakes or growth. How would you respond to that?
uh, to me, I'll start with this. Uh, I think there's growth in everything, right? I think you learn from every mistake that you make, right? So I think you can grow no matter what mistakes you make. It's about recognizing the mistakes and then growing from them and doing something better. See what I'm saying? So I don't think there's, the worst case scenario is what having to spend the rest of your life in jail. You can't come from that, but not to say that you can't change the mindset in there as well. You can grow in there. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, you won't be able to share with the people you love, which
Mm,
would be, you see what I'm saying? Getting that second chance, so to speak, and not thinking you this superhero, you can keep going in and out and making the same mistake. That it's going to keep working for you. Like, again, that's not going to work. It's not going to work at all. So just recognizing your mistakes and knowing that you can grow from them, and just having that support. When you got that support of people, and you got even, a lot of strangers support you more than your family sometimes.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And when you get that hug, so to speak, you know what I'm saying? There's change. That means there's a niche of change that could change you the whole way. It's up to that person, that individual, to take them steps forward. And when you take them steps forward, ain't nothing can stop
So what would you say to schools though? You got young guys that's 14, 15, 16. They're right at the precipice, right? That's right when you start dropping out and start really getting super gang involved, super selling drugs real heavy. And a lot of times the things that they do in school, even if they come into school because they trying, like they may just be right here, and then they encounter something at school that's like, you know what, I ain't coming back no more. Like it could be, I don't know, it could be a incident with police officers in the school. It could be a teacher that's always on them. It could be, you don't got on the belt, so you getting suspended, like those kind of things. How do you think schools can respond more so that they not pushing kids out into the streets?
I would say just giving them, I know it's teachers versus students is a real low number, right?
Mm-hmm.
But giving them kids, them alternative, not alternatives, but giving them that attention, giving that one individual kid that attention and letting them know, look, if you just do this, this will work for you. So they might be doing things for attention.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Calling on activists or programs like us. You know what I'm saying? And bringing to attention to these kids, giving them that individual. A lot of us need individual attention. You know what I'm saying? And when you got a person that can guide that person that needs that attention, I think that would change as well. One teacher can't do 20, 30 kids. That's tough
Mm-hmm.
because everybody learns on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You got some that got it quick. You got some that, I understand you, but I don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got those that don't want to do it at all. And then it's like, why? So it's like you give them that, they want that attention. Why you don't want it? What's the issue? Are you going through anything? Are you cool? You checking in with them? You know what I'm saying? And again, it goes back to meeting them where they at, checking in with them, seeing what's going on with them. You know what I'm saying? Give them that little 5 to 10 minutes real quick so you can possibly get in front of a few things, not everything. And they may not be satisfied with that. You know what I'm saying? But again, they just meet them where they're checking on them every day, constantly. Giving them that positive eye, how you doing, Mister So and So, whatever the case may be, and just addressing him, making acknowledging that he's there. Those type of things. You don't know what's going on at home. You don't know what he may be maybe going through in the streets with his homies. You know what I'm saying? The work might be hard in school, and he don't want to do it because he want to be cool, and I don't understand it, but he wants to understand it. So every kid learns on a different level. You know what I'm saying? And they all need some type of attention one way or the other. They just find niche, talking to that individual, and just figuring out what can we do to best help you get better.
That's what's up. So what would you say is the one thing either while you were inside or when you came out, was the one, like, if you could name a book or a tool that you had that helped you navigate your way back and really keep your sanity?
Man, strong mind. I had a strong mind. I read a lot of law books. I didn't know what I was up against when I was inside for real. I didn't know what was coming behind what I already had. Fortunately, you know, it was not minute, but it was time out of my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I learned by going through the laws, seeing other people go through things, learning from what their barriers of being able to get home, or they're looking at long stints, helping other guys with their cases, running into. So it was a lot of reading. I read a lot of those type of books, and I read a lot of novels like James Patterson books, things of that sort. When I come home, my focus was, man, my family, my kids was my tool because I knew I had to help and do something for them as well. So that was my main goal. That was my tool belt. My kids, them kids around me, was my push to do what I needed to do so that they can do and succeed in life. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want, and my sons, I got two sons, and one may be trying to be like me right now, but you can't. Hey, let's do this. I'm telling you, that's not even worth it. You're doing things that you know I wouldn't expect you to do, but I know why you're doing them. You need that attention. So I got a son that needs a little attention sometimes, and I give it to him, and I try to teach him. He's 18, going on 19, and some of these kids, sometimes you got to go ahead and let them freelance, but don't let them go too far.
Mm-hmm.
You got to grab back by the AA, saying what that is. You get yourself into something that you don't need to be in,
Mm-hmm.
and just go from there. Give them that rope and let them learn at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, and I held 3 jobs when I came home.
How can you go into that? Because there's a lot of barriers. I don't want people to see your story and be like, I'm getting my master's degree, I'm gonna be straight and narrow, because there's barriers. So what are some of the barriers that a person that's not as strong minded as you, the traps that set for them, and like the things that get somebody so frustrated that they be like, you know what, I'm going back to selling drugs. I can't do it.
Listen, I'm gonna say this, man. We're gonna run through all barriers, but if you give up, you're giving up on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I ran through a lot of barriers. I had to go to child support court, so they had froze my bank account. This is what 3 to 6 months since I've been home. So that was another hard hit. So that's like starting back from ground zero. But me having that relationship and communication with my kid's mother, we were able to overcome that. Went to court. She took me off of all of that. Look, I can do more for my kids than what they can for real, right? I can bring more to the table if they not taking from me. So, and she knew what I was helping her out when I came home. So she was like, "Yeah, yeah, let's do that. Let's make this shit happen so they can leave you alone." I want to build my credit. You know what I'm saying? Do things like that. So I was able to pay people that I owe, my creditors. So there was barriers, but I was you have to attack the barriers. You know what I'm saying? You got to get on top of them, resolve them the best way you can, and just keep moving forward without any stopping. As long as you keep doing that, it's like swimming. You put that water behind you. Yeah, there's a whole lot of water in front of you, but you're putting a whole lot of water behind you as well, and you're building momentum. You know what I'm saying? When you're building momentum, you still got your head up. With your head, you can still see through the water. Now your shoulders coming up. Now you standing on your 2 feet. You know what I'm saying? So when I say that, I'm talking about just building yourself as you go. I own property. I got a building that I own now. So you figure I've been out 10 years, got my own building. I don't got to worry about nobody kicking me out of nowhere or living house to house or anything like that. So yeah, messing with girls, don't get out. I ain't messing with you no more. Whatever the case may be, right? It's just building your own. You got to build yourself. So barriers are always going to be there. You're going to get a million no's and 1 or 2 yeses, but you got to keep fighting for them. Yeah, and you got to keep fighting for yourself. You know what
Fight
I'm
for
saying? To
yourself.
build. So, and that's why I was just determined. I was determined to succeed and do a whole lot better. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
And I mean, everybody is no different from being just as involved and being inside locked away and being outside is no difference. You have to have a vision for your life, regardless of where you are. You got to have a
Yeah.
vision of what you're working towards.
See,
Everybody,
there's something I learned in prison, right? Your body's locked up, not your mind.
that's right.
Go to Hawaii. So what my body's here, but I'm thinking of another picture. I'm thinking of another, what I'm saying, a better picture. You can only be where your mind takes you. You know what I'm saying? I know where I'm at. I know my state of being right now, but my state of mind is gone. I'm thinking of bigger and better things. If I get this chance to go out there, I'm going to try to do the best that I can. You know what I'm saying? With all the obstacles in front of me. And we face obstacles every day, man. We come out when we wake up and leave these doors, you're never promised to come back, especially when you live when you're still living in the community. And it may not be for you. A lot of innocent people are getting shot and killed. As you know, babies are dying and getting shot, and they're the most innocent, most purest thing in the world.
Yeah,
And why should they be affected by all this pain like that? So that goes for any of us. Tomorrow's not promised.
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to make the best that you can as you go. You know what I'm saying? Give it your all. And I chose to give back to the community, help people out. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I've been doing, going on 10 years. I'm not even 10 years out yet. I complete that in October. So, and I think I've accomplished a lot in my life, in these 10 years that I'm going to be out. I think I've accomplished a lot.
Absolutely, because in 10 years, cleaning up your credit, being a responsible father for 9 children, finishing your degree and on your way to a second degree, buying your own property and real estate. That's a lot. That's more than some people do with 50 years of their life. So, I salute that all day. And I think that is the demonstrates for everybody else that the destiny that they put on people because of mistakes, or the destiny that they put on people because they are involved in streets or whatever, that you can't dictate to somebody what their life, what their end will be. all you can do is not be somebody that's blocking them. You know what I mean? If you're not providing the
Right.
access or the resources, then you can't help them. If all you got to do is tell them you ain't gonna be nothing, and you know it ain't worth it, and you ain't worth it, I'm not gonna invest in educating you, I'm not gonna invest in believing in you. You don't know, because oftentimes, as I'm sure you know, the very people you say that about turn out to be the ones that's actually doing way more than the teacher that said you never gonna amount to none, or the parent, or whoever else. So yeah, we will take a couple of questions or comments. If anybody is watching and you want to add some comments or have a question for Tomas, please do let us know. You can type it in and we'll see it and put it up on the screen. I also want to let you know again that you should go to right now, as you're watching this, 2020census.gov, 2020census.gov. You have to be counted. A lot of the resources and the things that drive people into street life and selling drugs and gangs is a matter of resources and access and money and economy. And if they don't have it, then so filling out the census brings jobs to our community. Filling out the census brings education and support for our education. It brings libraries and roads and construction and all the things that we need, infrastructure. Fill out your census, 2020census.gov. Again, 2020census.gov. Brother Tomas, you have any last words? Or actually, what I want to know is what's your proudest success story working with activists?
Working with activists.
Ah.
That's our success. You know, what we stand for as a group, how we get along as a family, how they've helped, my endeavors, and push me to a lot of my goals as far as education and things like that as well. So, I would say we're a unique group of people from different walks of life, what I'm saying, that come together, put our head and give each other ideas to become better, to uplift one another. So I think that's working with activists, just the violence prevention, field is uplifting because it shows you a different aspect. It keeps you on the outside looking in and knowing that you still have parts to uplift this community. And that's what activists stand for, to uplift, to swoop up, to build your community, build individually. And, the sky is the limit.
So we do have one question that just came in. So if you can see it on the screen, it says, what was the hardest part about your transition back into the community? And what do you think drives so many of our boys to the streets?
I think, again, I was determined. So, I already had that mindset coming home that I was determined to do something, right? So they would, whatever barriers I had, I was aiming to conquer, right? I think what turns our boys to the street is the fascination of cars. A lot of the older guys with women, or things of that sort. You know what I'm saying? They get fascinated by things like that: the cool cars, motorcycles, the groups of people. And not all groups are bad, because I've hung with guys that are firemen. You know what I'm saying? And have professions, and we've had a good time. These are professional people just having black. You know what I'm saying? And some of our boys they go the other way. They make that choice. They make a choice that may not be the wrong choice, but they won't know until they really dig into it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you know that's the wrong or right choice until they figure out where they at, what they want for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I just think there's a lot of pretty things, beautiful things out here as well, and that might be what draws them to the street. But then there's other parts. Go to downtown Chicago. We got a beautiful city. Show them a different part of the city that's got a lot of beautiful things as well. The only thing, the difference is you have to put more work into being around that atmosphere than you do in the neighborhood. It's easy to come out your door and hang out and be cool right here.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have to see something different. and they might not have the means, so they settle for what they see in their area and their surroundings. So I think that's what draws the guys, to the streets like that. But if we take them out and show them something different, they may visualize something different. Again, it's just about what we put on their mind, give them something to think about, give them positive thoughts.
So there was a follow up to that question. It was the question is it the materialism? Is it the material thing that they want, the cars, or is it the feeling and the power that comes with it? Or feeling like, or not even power, I would say just like you matter, you valued and worthy.
So from my experience, I'm gonna say it was the money, the power, and just the loyalty. I was loyal. I was 100. Well, I am 100. Not was, I still am 100.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was in the life, it was the power, it was the money. You know what I'm saying? It was that ghetto fabulous feeling. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knew you. You was cool. You had nice things. Everybody wanted to hang with you. You know what I'm saying? Those type of things. All maybe for the wrong reasons. Well, at least in my aspect, right? And I'm just from my experience. And it wasn't all bad. I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world. I wouldn't give it back because that's how I learned. And that's how we learn, by making those mistakes and growing from that. So I don't regret none of it. I don't regret anything I've done.
What's the vision for your role at Activist? Where do you see Activist going, especially in response to what we're seeing in this city? What do you think? How do you think Activist is going to change the culture of this city?
I think we have to do that as a community as a whole. I think Activist is just there to open up your eyes and make you see something different, make you know that we can live in a better world. So Activist is pushing that we want a better world for ourselves first and our children, right? And for the community around us. So we pushing for that betterment. You know what I'm saying? That uplifting of our children, education. Let them know the laws so they're not oblivious to things when they're confronted by something. They know what they're talking about. Just educating our community the best way that we can, and hoping they grasp it, and that spreads like a disease. It's like this virus spreading. We want this knowledge that we can bring to the city, to our people, to our community. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully that we can work and become. There'll be less crime and better community. Better, I'm not gonna say better people, but have to make certain choices. You know what I'm saying? And some things are not supposed to be paid however it is that we pay. But I think Chicagoland, what we bring to Chicago, we can bring to other people is that knowledge, and that uplifting knowledge and help. How can we help make this better? What resources can we find in your area that can make you better than have access to, things of that sort. So it's just about uplifting. Uplift the community, let's uplift the city. One bite at a time.
Well, I've been in the president of Activist, and I'm always honored and I just salute y'all. It's not an easy job, especially returning home, especially reclaiming your position in the community, especially seeing what's out there. It can be very discouraging. And like Swack was saying yesterday, you could easily make the choice to move to a nice suburb and be like, forget this life. I ain't trying to be with it. I'm trying to be peaceful now. I'm trying to chill, but y'all give y'all lives every day to like you said, uplifting people that still for some reason vibrating low and still where they are. And so I'm just honored, and I salute you all, and I thank you for giving us your time to come on with us. And thanks to Activist for providing this hour for us so that we can get to know the plight, the barriers, and the contributions of mighty men like yourself who have been justice involved. Justice involved does not mean throwaway. Does not mean that there's no hope or there's no contribution or positivity. It simply means that there was a situation that all of us could be one or two steps away from being involved in the justice system, whether it is mistaken identity, whether it is a case of police misconduct, or even if there's something that we're doing. So I just wanted to reiterate that all of us have a role in supporting justice involved fathers, whether it's systematically, whether it is how we handle job hiring, whether it is how we treat children who have incarcerated parents. It's so much policy that's connected to it. Brother Tomas, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.
You
Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, you stay cool. I see you enjoying that AC, so enjoy. All right. All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So thank you again for tuning in. If you haven't watched, go back to the replay. You can watch any of our 4 days that we've been on Facebook Live or YouTube, however you're watching. And if you're on YouTube, leave us a comment. We'll be sure to make sure that we address those comments. Again, I want you to ensure you are taking your census, passing a word about the census if you have family members that have not taken it, or a household at your church or someone else. 2020census.gov, 2020census.gov is how you can complete that. And tomorrow we'll be talking more about the census and how the census counts those who are incarcerated, but that those numbers actually go to the cities and towns of people who are wherever that person is housed, wherever that prison is located, that city or town gets that incarcerated. That person who is incarcerated, they're counted for that county, that city population. And so we're going to delve into that a little bit more tomorrow. Thank you all for stopping in with us. Please share this video and share all the videos that you've been able to watch. This information hopefully transforms our community, hopefully transforms our mind. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.